working on this with me. I so appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So just briefly tell us about the symptom you have and what it feels like, what bothers you when you notice it most, and so on.
I have glaucoma, and that results in pressure in both eyes, and I have to take medicated drops. I'm having trouble with the left eye. It won't go down, and it's way higher in pressure. And I can feel, this eye feels different. This eye just sees, it just does it. This eye feels strained. It can feel dry and stretched. It's like an uncomfortable feeling, not pain, but pressure. I feel the pressure, and sometimes it gets really strong and builds into pain. Right now it's not in pain, it's about medium.
Okay, so it's mostly your left eye, strongest in your left eye, you feel pressure there. Sometimes the pressure increases where it feels like pain.
Yes.
Right now it's sort of medium between the two extremes, okay. Here's a tap, okay. And just repeat that while we're tapping now.
Okay. I have pressure in my left eye.
Give it a number as well.
I'd say right now it could be a 6.
Out of 10, okay.
Out of 10.
And what's the least it ever gets to?
It almost always feels different. So it might get down to a 1 or a 2. I've done a little bit of tapping on it already.
I'm so glad to hear that. Whatever the problem is, tapping is the solution. So you've done some tapping sometimes when it gets down to a 1 or a 2 at the lowest point.
Yes, and I judge it by how it feels in comparison to the other eye.
Oh, okay, good.
That they match.
Okay.
Get close to them. They feel like they match, and then I go, wow.
So let's just be daring here to start the session. Say, could it ever be a 0?
Could it ever be a 0?
Could it ever be a 0? What do you think? Tell me.
Yes.
Good. So it could possibly be a 0.
It could get to a 0.
Okay.
And stay there.
And stay there.
Ooh.
So both eyes match at a 0.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so just let's start with the physical symptom alone. And after we look at the emotional stuff as well, let's just try the physical symptom and see if that makes it budge at all. So we'll just say this pressure in my eye.
This pressure in my eye.
Even though I have this pressure in my eye.
Even though I have this pressure in my left eye.
My left eye.
Left eye.
Yeah. And let's go for love rather than acceptance. So I love myself.
I love myself.
Including my eye.
Including my eye.
Left eye and all.
Left eye and all.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love my whole body.
I love my whole body.
Left eye and all.
Left eye and all.
My left eye.
My left eye.
Love myself.
Love myself.
Pressure in my left eye.
Pressure in my left eye.
All this pressure in my left eye.
All this pressure in my left eye.
It's a 6.
It's a 6.
Could it be a 5 or a 4 or a 0?
Could be a 5 or a 4 or a 0.
Right. Could go down to a 0.
Could go down to a 0.
May never go down to a 0.
May never go down to a 0.
May go up to a 10.
That's scary. May go up to a 10.
Okay, tap the reversal point again, even though it's scary.
Even though it's scary.
You don't have to actually pound yourself, it's okay. You're hammering away there at the reversal. I mean, that feels good, it's okay, but you don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though.
You know, it might go. Okay, I'm afraid it'll go up to a 10.
I'm afraid it might go up to a 10.
Are you afraid it'll make it to a 10?
It's possible.
Yeah, that'd be a real problem.
Yes. I had
Yeah.
damage in this eye when it had a mini stroke.
Yeah, the mini stroke went up to a high number.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's scary that it might go up there again.
Yes, it's scary that it might go up there again.
Yeah, in your left eye.
In my left eye.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this fear.
This fear.
Where in your body do you feel the fear?
I have a little bit of tingling all over, but
Okay.
I think most of the feeling of fear is in this area, abdominal.
Okay. So, abdominal area, fear. And what number is the fear?
Ooh, that's an 8.
That's an 8. That's way up there.
Yes, it could be a 9.
Could be a 9.
Yeah.
And fear of
Losing my sight.
you're losing my sight. Let's just switch now to the first time you ever felt that in your whole life. So imagine we have a magic time machine. We're traveling back on this feeling in your abdominal area to the very first time in your life you ever felt that same physical feeling. How old were you? What was happening back then?
I was about maybe 8 years old. And it was dinner time. And I was downstairs, Mom was cooking dinner, and she said, oh, go up and tell your dad dinner's ready. And it was hot, summery, sunny, and I ran upstairs, and without thinking, I whipped the door open on Dad, and he was laying naked. And he said, shut the door! You don't open the door! And of course I shut it immediately, and I ran away. I don't know if I went back to my mom or I hid.
So let's just use that emotive moment. I whipped the door open when Dad was naked.
Dad was naked, laying on bed.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though I whipped the door open
Yeah, on Dad.
on Dad,
And he was naked.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept the 8-year-old version of myself.
I love and accept the 8-year-old version of myself.
I love and accept the version of myself I am now.
I love and accept the version I am now.
Okay, over here. So, whip the door open.
Whip the door open.
Dad was naked.
Dad was naked.
It's hard to tell who was more scared, startled, Dad or me.
Dad just about flew off the bed. I think that's why I flew away.
And he always flew off the bed, he always flew away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't want Dad mad at me.
didn't want Dad mad at you. Was Dad mad at you often?
The only time Dad paid attention to you was if he was mad at you. Otherwise,
Ooh.
he really didn't. Except he could ask you to pass the salt.
Okay, so the 2 times of attention were when the salt was at your end of the table and when he was mad at you.
And if he was mad,
Yeah. Okay. Let's do the 9 gamut around that. So tap over here, and holding your head steady, still. Close your eyes and open them. Eyes down hard to the left. Eyes down hard to the right. Eyes in a big circle, all the way around each point of the compass. Go ahead and follow my hand and just say, Dad is mad.
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 At me.
At me.
Dad is mad at me.
Dad is mad at me.
I get attention
I get attention
when Dad is mad.
when Dad is mad.
And only when Dad is mad.
And only when Dad is mad. Or I've done something wrong.
Yes.
Which I did.
I've done something wrong.
I've done something wrong.
I've done something wrong.
I've done something wrong.
Dad is mad.
Dad is mad.
I whipped open the door.
I whipped open the door.
And Dad was naked.
And Dad was naked.
Dad was mad.
Dad was mad.
Dad was mad.
Dad was mad.
Say it loudly.
Dad was mad.
Dad was very mad.
He was, yeah.
What's worse than mad? He was.
He jumped up.
He jumped up. And
Well, I ran away.
smart move.
It was a good idea.
That's a good idea to run away. Yeah, I took care of myself. Dad was mad.
Dad was mad.
He jumped up.
He jumped up.
He was startled.
He was startled.
I was startled.
I was startled.
Mad Dad.
Mad Dad.
You take a couple of breaths. There's a nice long deep breath. What number are you in your abdominal region now?
Maybe a 2.
Okay, maybe 2. Okay, and then what number is the sensation in your left eye?
I think maybe a 3 or 4.
3 or 4, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the pressure and the difference.
Okay.
3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah, I'm using the line gamut because I suspect that that wasn't the only time Dad was mad when you fly over the door. There were other times as well. With the line gamut, we can often clear a whole lot of incidents at the same time. Yeah, so it's handy that way. So let's, how are you, what's your number right now thinking about that particular incident when Mom told you to, in fact, tell the story again. Let's tell the story and stop me when you get to a high intensity. So let's tap and start from the neutral point.
You know what, I really don't think there's going to be anything there.
Okay.
But I'll try it.
Okay, good.
Okay, I was downstairs with Mom, and dinner was going to be on the table, and she said, go get your father. And I ran upstairs and just racing along and flung the door open. And there was Dad laying on bed, naked. And he jumped up, and I guess there's something there. I was
What number are you right now?
a 3.
3, okay. So he jumped up. Even though Dad jumped up.
I was worried.
I was worried. I was worried.
I was worried.
You look a little higher than a 3. I just want to make sure that you aren't any high. Is really a 3, you think, or higher, lower? I was worried.
I was worried. Maybe it's a 5.
It's 5, okay. So I was worried.
I was worried.
And I said, okay, why?
I just remembered something.
Must be juicy. It sounds like something juicy.
Oh, I was way worse. And it was my dad, and he was in his room. Oh my goodness. When I was about, do you want to hear this? Picture, and I knew it. I knew that was it. I was maybe 5 or 6. And Mom was out, and I was in our apartment, and Dad was asleep. He was taking a nap in his room on the bed. And I really wanted some candy. Mom was going to give me money, and she went away and forgot. And I was too scared to wake up Dad. But I knew when he would come home from work, he would put his change and things on his dresser. And I snuck in, because he was asleep, and I didn't want to wake him up. And so I snuck in, and I took maybe a dime or a quarter off his dresser. And I went out to the candy store, and I bought candy. And hold it up. I ate it. I think I shared some with friends, but it was gone. And I came back home, and Dad was awake. And he said, oh, I think I had a piece of candy still. Maybe, they had 5-cent chocolate bars in those days. I had it, and he said, where did you get that chocolate bar? And I probably froze and locked up, and finally I told him. I took the money off his dresser. And I know he spanked me, but I don't remember. Because the next thing I knew, I was laying in my bed, and my mom woke me up. And I think he told her, she knew, he'd given me a spanking. And this is lots higher. And she was really sweet and gentle with me, and she was comforting. She didn't really talk to me about anything, but she took me to have a bath. And I remember when I was sitting in the tub, I looked down and I was black and blue.
Don't talk, just tap. Just go ahead and tap on all the points. Don't say anything. It's okay. Just keep your eyes open if you wouldn't mind.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, stay here in the room with us. Yeah. Just tap all the points. Keep breathing.
I wanted to get here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's safe to be here now. So let's tap the gamut point and do some more eye movements. So just no words right now. Just close your eyes and open them. Eyes far down to the left, right. Eyes in a big circle. Good. Keep on going, yeah, the same direction for a little while. And I'm just going to say the words, where did you get that candy? Which seemed to be very triggering for you when you told the story. So I'm just going to say gently, where did you get that candy? As a way of taking you back to it, but not hopefully too far into it. Where did you get that candy? Where did you get that candy? Now your eyes in the opposite direction. Where did you get that candy? If you follow my hand now, where did you get that candy? Where did you get that candy? I told my dad I took the money. He spanked me. I told my dad where I got the money. I got caught. I love and accept myself. Even though I got caught, I'm done punishing myself. Others punishing me. Me punishing myself. Me putting pressure on myself to be perfect. All this pressure to be perfect and not make mistakes. All this pressure to not be punished anymore, to not make mistakes which get me punished. Love and accept myself. All this pressure. Okay, then go ahead and hum.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good. Okay, what's your number in your abdominal region right now?
It just feels tingly. It's not a bad feeling, it's just tingles.
Okay, are you tingly all over still?
Yeah, a little bit. But it's like bubbles and effervescence. Just tingling.
Okay.
It feels like stuff is just bubbling away.
Feels lovely. Like being in the bath. And what's your sensation in your left eye right now? What's your number?
It's still different from my right eye. 2.
2,
Or
okay.
3.
Or 3.
Yeah.
So let's come down a tiny bit
A tiny bit.
Yeah. What is the pressure in your right eye, by the way? What number is that?
I just felt a balancing.
10. I just felt the balancing.
I just felt a balancing. They feel like they match. They feel like they're the same eyes.
They match.
They match.
Just tap all the points and say that they match.
They match.
They match.
They match.
They're the same eyes.
They're the same eyes.
They match.
They match. They're together.
They're together. Yeah. I accept myself.
I accept myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love both my eyes equally.
I love both my eyes equally.
I love being who I am.
I love being who I am.
Oh, I like the way you say that. Say it again. I like being who I am.
I like being who I am.
I believe you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was really interesting. Wow.
Well, what I was reasoning was, my process was that your pressure could mean putting pressure on yourself. And since you got punished for being imperfect or for doing things, then there's the pressure on yourself to be perfect. So I was trying to weave all those threads into the 9 gamut. So, and again, you probably have many incidents to work on with your dad, not just those 2. But I like the way one went down in intensity, so you jumped then to one that was much more powerful, where you've been really injured physically as well.
Yes.
So that was great. And then you collapsed up with those legs, and eventually the whole tabletop. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way our physical issues are interwoven with our psychological ones. So it's showing this physical pressure in your eye. But what it really is, it's a signal from your body to pay attention to something that's causing you to be out of balance.
Yes.
And that something is an early childhood event, and a series of them. So you go and take care of those, and then your body is saying, "Oh, thank goodness, she noticed. She got the signal I'm giving her
Yes.
to release, relax, and heal this."
Yes.
Yeah.
And just the other day, it was really interesting when you talked about you don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
I was looking at that yesterday. It was this need to be perfect, and no, you don't have to be perfect. You don't really want to be perfect. But that was an issue I was focusing on yesterday, and I see the connection.
Yes. Yeah. So you can also make a note then of the dad issues, events that need to be perfect as your tabletop. So that perfectionism is the tabletop. Those experiences with your dad on the table legs.
Yes.
So you collapse those one at a time.
Yes.
And then you'll no longer feel that sense of imbalance.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the need to be perfect could then disappear, and you can be gloriously imperfect like all the rest of us.
I will. Get rid of some death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from one imperfect person to another.